What's the most fitting case of vigilante justice you've ever heard of? Cowboy boots are expensive. Someone ran into a cowboy store and stole a couple pairs and ran towards the exit. My dad tripped the guy, then sat on him and held his legs against his back while laying on top of him in a cowboy hat and boots. Basically hog-tied the guy till the cops came. It happened like 5 years ago in my country. There's a huge popular national park close to the city with beautiful mountains, falls, views and all that shit. So it's common to people go there and spend the day walking and doing some picnic in a kind of lonely natural place. Some group of thieves thought though it will be a good idea to go there and steal people. They found an isolated couple, stealing and hitting them, then tried to up-pair the woman. The screaming of this couple attracted the attention from the main group. That day was with the National Martial Arts team. I don't remember the precise kind of martial arts. I'll just say 2 of the burglars had to be evacuated in chopper due to his state. Don't worry, all of them survived. A guy tried to stab me in the eye with a lockback. Wouldn't hand over my wallet. His dealer got wind of it, spiked him with acid, and dumped him in the woods at night to find his own way home. From what I'm told it was a 15-mile walk to the nearest town. I don't even buy from the dude. Had a friend who got a cash pay landscaping job. Worked his 2 weeks, then payday came. Boss laughed in his face and told him to duck off. No record of him ever working there. Friend did some landscaping on the guy's kneecap. No pay, but none needed, said my friend. Got his money's worth. No charges either. Jim Browning. The guy basically baits tech scammers and makes their lives living heck. He even infiltrated one call center CCTV cams and got the leader of the center arrested. Not personally there for the event itself, but I saw the aftermath. Guy shows up for Saturday work in a call center office drunk. There are no managers in or anything to make him go home. He flips out and assaults one of the female members of staff for some reason. Enough that a missed blow actually leaves a dent crack in one of the not very good in the first place walls. Let's just say, when he came in Monday to collect his stuff and officially be fired since again. No managers, he was not looking in good condition. His face was covered in bruises and he looked an absolute mess still. From what I heard, basically every male employee, as soon as they realized what was going on, they were in a side room, so it took a few moments, especially as it's a call center, so headsets and ambient noise descended on him, pummeled him and restrained him. I'm fairly sure the females who were there at the time might have joined in too, but I didn't hear for sure. As I said, I just saw the wall on the Monday, and the state of the guy when he was escorted back in by like 4 people to collect his stuff, and escorted right back out. The beating he looked like he received was certainly beyond the minimal force needed to restrain. Female employee was unharmed too. I think she managed to simply evade his drunken attempts at hitting her. I knew this dude whose daughter lived alone. She started noticing things being randomly moved around in her apartment. So her dad and his buddy snuck into her apartment and had her leave. Some dude picked the lock and walked in. They beat the dude with baseball bats and threw him in a car and drove him to the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and dumped him. Arkansas is basically all woods or farm fields for those who don't know. She never had a problem after that. Another story I have about a similar topic. My aunt married this dude who was very handsome and charismatic. Turns out he was abusive as heck. My aunt had bruises all over. So my dad, uncle and grandpa went over and talked with him. My aunt and that guy divorced soon after. My dad would never tell me what they did to the guy. Warning: NSFL story. I don't know if the video I saw was real, but I think I came across it sometime around 2009-10. I think it happened in France, but I can't remember. Heads up, I'm not researching the validity of the events, and I encourage anyone to disprove it, as it is pretty ducked up. Anyway, I'll keep it as short as possible. 2 teenagers were being groomed by an old married doctor, looked to be at least in his 70s in the video, and they agreed to allow him to take them out for dinner to celebrate a recent high school team victory. According to the story, they knew exactly what his intentions were. The video starts with them hiding and turning on a camera in what seems to be a small living room. A minute or so later, The old man comes into the shot from a hallway in the back, wearing nothing but underwear. The boys push him into the bathroom on camera left. Let me tell you, the screams of that old pedo being stabbed sounded like at least 20 times still haunt me to this day. I've seen plenty of ducked up videos from the dark annals of the internet, but this one always takes the cake. The whimpering, the cries, the way a man can be turned into fear incarnate within moments of realizing their life is now forfeit, that kind of thing sticks with you forever. The boys then shut the door on him and lightly ransacked the room for valuables. They left the room for about a minute, and you can see the door to the bathroom creak open, and the old man takes a couple steps into the threshold. It took about 3 seconds for there to be a pool of blood about 3 femolet wide under his feet before they came back in, pushed him to the ground back into the bathroom, gave him a couple good pokes for good measure, and then walked to the camera while smiling and giving a thumbs up before the footage is cut. This is some personal vigilante justice. My sister was abused by a guy she was dating in high school, but never spoke up about it until after the relationship was finally over. My brother and I always had our suspicions, but she always had an excuse as to why she had a bruise somewhere. She finally confided to my brother and I after a few months, and we were ready to kill him. Well, a couple months later we went down the shore for a family vacation, and the shbag ended up being down the shore also. We tracked him through Snapchat and ran into him and his friends on the boardwalk. We acted all buddy with him, and he was down to smoke some weed with us later on. The plan came into effect a little while later after my brother and I took a couple swings of some Justice whiskey that I smuggled from my parents' supply. We meet him under the boardwalk and just unleash on him. The kid never expected it, and neither did his friends. They just watched as their piece of shit friend kept getting punched in the face. We finally decided that he may have possibly learned his lesson and let him go. Bloody and mangled, we go back to the house like nothing happened, and then the kid's mom calls my mom, flipping out and threatening to have us arrested. My sister then comes clean about her abuse and had the pictures to prove it. The mother cooled off a little and then started freaking out at her son for abusing a girl and saying he completely deserved it, as my brother and I were cracking up listening to it on the speaker. A couple of guys on the island where I live were robbing all kinds of people and stores in the low season. They robbed the wrong store, and a couple of days later their bodies were found in a very public place, shot multiple times. It was the best justice the island has had in some time. Alright, I'm a bit late to this thread, but I'll give my piece. This was over a decade ago. I was in middle school, and this one girl just terrorized everyone, saying most hateful, disgusting things, especially racist. She came from a wealthy family and definitely acted like it. She had made my friends cry on multiple occasions. Months of multiple people reporting her for bullying, mental and physical. Nothing was done. No action was taken. We figured we could ignore it, until my little sister ran up to my friends and I sobbing. She couldn't even talk, she was so heartbroken. She finally spit it out. This girl had pushed my sister to the ground, insulted her weight. We are both super skinny, no matter how much we eat. But at the time we were extremely poor, so we didn't get to eat much. Spit in her face and told her to kill herself. For no reason. My sister never even talked to her. I went with my sister to the office and they gave the same runaround they had given for months, basically saying they couldn't do anything about it. So at lunch, in the quad, in front of everyone, I beat the living shit out of her. This wasn't a girl fight with hair pulling. This was me sitting on top of her, laying my fist into her face one after another until I was pulled off. She never bothered anyone again and would turn the complete opposite way anytime she saw me. That 10-day suspension was 100% worth it. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.